Hi there, welcome to Floating in Dreams, welcome to Eyeshadow Palette Month, and today we're going to be talking about whether I would repurchase these eyeshadow palettes if I lost them or if these were released today. Welcome to everybody watching today. Thank you so very much for joining me. This is a video I do every single month where I go through my eyeshadow palette collection, grab 10 random ones, and I tell you whether I think these are worth my money in the end, if this is like a long staple, is this something that I would run out and purchase again if I lost it, if my house burned down, that sort of situation. So it's a bit of a hypothetical, and I thought that for Eyeshadow Palette Month, I should also stick to doing the things I like doing every month anyway, because that way, if you're new, you can get a bit of an idea of what's going on the channel anyway. So this is still part of Eyeshadow Palette Month as well, but this is also a video I do every single month anyway. Before we get into the video, for those people who might be new here, hi, my name is Micah. I've been creating content online for more than a decade. I love trying out eyeshadow palettes, and I have fair skin with a cool to neutral undertone. So if those are things that you're looking for, that you would like to see more of, I hope you'd like to consider subscribing. So today I have 10 random ones again, and for some of these I was surprised I hadn't put them in this video yet. I keep a little list of everything that I did mention so that I can keep track. The first palette I have for you is the Natasha Mini Zendo. The Mini Zendo is one, I think this is the last mini palette that I haven't mentioned yet. And this, up to an extent, this is my favorite mini, and it's also my least favorite. It's warm tones, which is not my preference, but in terms of the looks I can get out of this, I think it's one of my favorites. It's got enough depth. It's got enough mid-tones, it's got enough shimmers, and I like the peachy tones together with the purple and this greenish gray. The greenish gray is my standout shade in the palette. I get enough to blend it with. This is really, really pretty, really stunning. Would I repurchase this? That's a tough one, because I like it, and if I think about it objectively, I would be like, yes. But if I had to start my makeup collection over, I wouldn't prioritize getting this. I don't think I would miss it if it was gone. So that's why it would be a no for me. We're just starting with the smaller things first, and I realized I hadn't talked about any of my Kaleidos Futurism palettes in this video, and these are sort of tucked away in a corner of my eyeshadow palette collection, and I'm like, oh, I really like these. This is the Cyber Bronze. This is the Futurism 2. And I think of the ones I still have, this may be my least favorite. I did change this around because this vibrant pink wasn't in here before. This was from the VR Neons, and that's one I decluttered because it was a bit weird. I've also decluttered the shades from the Sci-Fi Greens, but I still have the packaging with other shades in. But here we get some warmer tone neutrals with a nice dark brown, a nice coppery shade, and then this really nice high shine silver. And this, I mean, I like it. I love the packaging of, look at this packaging. The packaging is what makes this. This is the other side. And I love how the packaging just really goes with the color story inside it. It's kind of why I added the pink, because there's a lot of pink in this color story, on the packaging that wasn't in here before. I can't remember what was in there. What was the color originally? I don't remember. I don't remember what was in there originally, but I remember not liking it at all. And this way it's a bit more perfect. I like that mustardy brown that it has. It's like Melt Cosmetics Rust. That's sort of the vibe it's giving me. That I used to have, and that one I decluttered. So this way I still have the vibe. But this is one I really don't think I would repurchase if it was still available and I could get my hands on it. It's just really not my color story. There's only one or two of these that I feel have truly stood the test of time, and this one isn't quite it. Then we have Oden's Eye, the Norns. This is the old version of the Norns, because they did re-release it with the square pans that they are now doing. Mine still has the round pans, and this was part of a special collection they did. I don't think it's still available on their website though. Has always been a little bit of a weird one, because looking at this in the pan, I'm going what should I do with this? But I remember using it and going oh, This is the colorful cool tone palette you didn't think it was going to be. Because that red didn't pull red on me at all. And so it was like colorful, but it also has cool tones in. Especially these 4 shades here in this half I really enjoyed. It's got some really interesting shimmers. This is the Oden's eye quality I do still love. So of course you could still buy this right now, but I don't think it's the same formula. And since the Oden's eye formula, ever since they've reformulated, is now one of my least favorites, I don't think I would repurchase this. This is definitely a different one and a slightly special one. I definitely have to put this on a list of like things I need to go back to, because now that I look at it again, I'm like, oh, I really think you're good. Is this necessary in my collection though? I don't think so. So that's why this one is not one I would repurchase. Another palette that is like sort of tucked away in a corner, but I do go back to this regularly. It's my Juvia's Place, the Nomad palette. And the Nomad, I think, is one of the best sort of like slightly grungy color stories on the market till today. I mean, we get so much, it just has so much going for it. The murky greens, the yellows, there are just 2 yellows that are really similar. It's really nice and dark. We get some really nice shimmers in here, and you can go more warm toned if you want to. This is fall in a color story to me. Very pretty, really good. This, I would say yes to, in terms of would I repurchase this? Would I miss this in my collection? I think I would. However, if I purchase the Melt Gemini, the original Melt Gemini, the first one with the greens and the grungy neutrals, I don't think I would need this in my life. So if I already had that, I would put this on the back burner, but if I got an opportunity to buy this first, I would probably buy this. I think they still do this as well. So this is a really good one. If you've wanted to try the murky green color story that was popular in like 2018, then this may be a good one. Would I repurchase the Flight Club from Menagerie? I have already mentioned most of my Menagerie palettes in these videos, but this is one that's been slipping through. For a very long time, this has been my purple palette of choice. However, I did have to go through some effort to create my perfect purple palette with it, because I ended up putting some shades in from the Violet ink. I believe these 2 and this one, the very bluish leaning shades, are not originally in this palette. There are warm tone neutrals in this palette, which kind of makes sense, but I don't love these like warmer tones that it has anyways, and therefore I wanted more shimmers and I wanted more blue tones, because none of the blue tone shimmers that were originally in here had anything to anchor it with. So that's why I opted for adding some like mattes and shimmers that could go with that. And now the palette works for me really well, and it's like my ultimate monochromatic purple palette. I now own the Melt Cosmetics Smoke Sessions too. So I hope, I'm not really sure how it's gonna go, whether this is going to be replaced by that. I don't think so. I still really enjoy the Menagerie formula, but Menagerie is so hard for me to buy that just for that reason alone, this is going to be a no when it comes to would I repurchase this. Not because I don't think it's worth it anymore. It's just that there are so many other monochromatic purple palettes out there that I don't feel I would go for this one instantly. I just have held off of buying some of the things from like Cosmic Brushes and stuff that we've gotten in recent years because I own this and because this is my pick when it comes to a purple palette. And I feel like having 1 or 2 purple palettes, that makes sense to me, but to have like 5, it just doesn't make sense. But if I hadn't had bought this, I would have definitely bought some of those other things that were released later, and I think that would have fitted the bill. So if I somehow lost this, I would probably like buy something like the Cosmic Brushes Gothic palette, or if I really enjoy my Melt Cosmetics Smoke Sessions too, that could be a contender there as well, and I don't think I would go for this. I have now, including this one, talked about all of my Tarte palettes in these videos. This is the Tartelette Energy. I've talked about the Juicy, the In Bloom, and the Toasted, and here we have the Energy. This is the last one I got, and it's the reason why I was like, okay, as much as I enjoy the Tarte formula, I think it's a really good formula eyeshadow, the color story is just, They're not it for me. This is a bit bland, it's a bit boring. I like the juicy better because it's got the pinky warm tones. This does have pinks in, but not my perfect thing. I like the purples or so I thought, but everything in here just kind of ends up looking the same. So the energy from Tarte would be a definite no. I would not repurchase this. I was mentioning Melt just before, and the Blueprint palette, which I keep in the box because it's really pretty, is definitely a palette that I don't think I needed to have. I was gifted this by a friend. I used to own the stack. I used to own the Blueprint stack, which I loved. Let's be real here. That's why she gifted it to me. She was like, I know yours is broken. I know how much you like this color story. I have this palette lying about. Would you like to have it? Sure. I love warm tone neutrals, or like neutral browns with a pop of blue. That's one of my favorite looks into summertime. It's just that so many brands do warm tone neutrals or just neutral shades with a pop of blue. Just everyone under the sun does this kind of color story. So to me, the color story isn't unique to go out and say, okay, I have to repurchase the Melt Cosmetics version of this. I now have something that's really similar to this by Essence that I adore. The Cape Town palette from Essence is really similar to this. So I can definitely get this look for less. And I don't need to shell out this much money if I could still buy this for a palette like this, in my opinion. Do I love the Melt formula? Oh yes, it's one of my favorites. Would I miss having this in my collection? Yes, because it would break up my Melt collection, and I love Melt formula, so yeah, duh, I would miss this. But I would still not go out and repurchase it, because I just know that if I want this vibe, I can spend so much less money on this than I would having repurchased this. Also with Melt, a lot of their products are in stock on their official website and not from websites that I can easily get a hold of. So that's another reason why the Melt Blueprint would be a bit of a challenge to repurchase. Would I repurchase the Mandalorian the Child from ColourPop? And the answer would be, I don't think so. ColourPop is another brand where I have just really realized through trying them that as much as I like the formula, they just don't really do color stories that excite me. The Mandalorian the Child is still one of the more exciting ones. I've talked about like my top 3 favorites already, the That's Taupe, the Making Mauves, and the... Ooh, what's the third one I've already talked about? I've talked about another. They're ColourPop palettes in these videos already. And ever since changing it, I think this is even better. I put this, and this in. These are from the Just My Luck palette. So I've taken some of the other greens in my collection and replaced the browns to make this more green toned. And now I love it. Now I love it. Do I reach for this a ton? No. Because if I think green color story, I have a million other things that can do this. Something like the Huda Beauty Emerald Obsessions comes to mind. I have greens in so many of my other palettes. I don't need to have this in my life to do a green eye look, I feel. And I would probably choose something else over this. So this is another one where I would say, no, wouldn't repurchase it. Even though I like the quality and I like the color story. There's a lot of no's in this video today. I hadn't realized it. I just kind of like grabbed them willy-nilly. Something I would repurchase, but that you can no longer repurchase is this, the Nabla Soul Blooming. I hadn't talked about this yet. I was surprised. I thought I had. But the Nabla Soul Blooming is so stunning. We get some like peachy tones and then these like really pretty periwinkle colors. It's got duochromes in here. Pretty much all 3 of those are duochromes. Really pretty. I love this like saturated bronzy pink. It's a really strange shade, but really pretty. And this is a color story that I feel so sad was discontinued. You can no longer find this. This is no longer around. And if you missed out, I apologize because this is beautiful. And I would repurchase this in a heartbeat. This is what I want in the springtime. It's got a really nice blend of cool tones and warm tones. It just has that really nice sort of peachy pink, like like the packaging. Like, if you, this is why I have the sleeve still, but the colors of the packaging is exactly what you get in the palette, and this is just so pretty. Nabla, bring it back. Bring it back, please, so that if I lost this, I could repurchase it, because this one I definitely would. And finally, we need to chat more Zoeva. I've talked about some of my favorite Zoeva palettes in these videos already, but the IC is a little bit underrated, even in my collection, I feel. But the IC is like a little bit more jewel toned, I feel. I like the packaging a lot with this like gold foiling and this like almost like Art Deco-ish kind of design. I love these little 10 pans that Zoeva used to do. They no longer do this. So I could never repurchase this if I wanted to. This one in particular, I think I would pass up on it though. I like this pink with like the blue flash. There are duochromes in here. I mean, the white has a pink flash. I'm not sure if you can see. And I like the jewel tones in here. But again, I think I have other things, and there have been released more things by other brands that I feel do this. So I could very easily dupe this, I think. Something like the Melody that I think I showed in the previous video, I can't really dupe. So that one would definitely be considered as a repurchase. But this one, even if it was still available, I don't think I would run and get this. I don't think I would. So thank you so very much for watching this video today. Thumbs it up if you liked it. This is another video done in Eyeshadow Palette Month. I have daily videos coming your way, so if you'd like to stay tuned for more, it would be helpful if you could subscribe, and please enter the giveaway, because there's also a giveaway going on the channel at the minute. So without further ado, I really hope you enjoyed watching today. Thumbs it up if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more by me. I make several videos every single week normally, and in August I'm posting daily, so I will be seeing you very, very soon with a new video. Hope to see you then. Bye-bye!